Welcome back, guys. Behind me is a 1952 3100 Chevy pickup truck. It is a half-ton with a 235 inline 6-cylinder engine. Now today I'm also going to be replacing the gas filter and a few inches of a hose on either side. And yesterday I ordered the valve cover gasket. I didn't expect it for several days, but it came in today. I ordered it online from AutoZone and it was super quick. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is the gas filter right there. So I'm going to replace this and that bit of hose right there and these two clamps on each side. So I'm going to take it out and go get a new one. But I need a smaller flathead screwdriver. I do have a pan underneath just in case there's any gasoline here, but I doubt it. We saw a couple of months ago that the gas tank was completely empty and must have evaporated over the 20 years. Well, I lost a screwdriver, but I don't need it anymore. Yep, this engine hasn't been started in 20 years. So here it is, guys. There was only just a couple of drops of gas in there, and I'm going to replace both pieces of fuel line and the clamps as well. Doing the whole thing. Yeah, how old this is? I don't know. Maybe 70 years? Nah, I'm sure it's not the original, but it sure does look like it. Alright guys, so this is what they call an 8.5 inch 10-bolt differential. The previous owner told me that this possibly came from a 1970 Nova or Camaro, but that's impossible because this type of differential was not available in 1970. Back in 1970, they had two types of differentials, an 8.2 inch 10-bolt and a 12-bolt high performance. The only 10-bolt available back in 70 was an 8.2 inch differential. Now, how do I know that? Well, the 8.2 has a rounded corner. It doesn't have this right here. So it's rounded, and the 8.5 10-bolt has the squared off solid lugs like you see here. See that? That's definitely an 8.5. Now, a lot of people back then, you know, they loved the 12-bolt because it was high performance. And this one, when it came out in 1972, it was highly desirable because it's almost as good as a 12-bolt high performance. Now, the 8.2 or 8.5 refers to the diameter of the ring gear. Now, another telltale sign is this. The 8.2 had a monoleaf rear end, and this has a multi-leaf rear end, meaning that it's definitely an 8.5 10-bolt, the highly desirable one. All right, guys, big tip, and pay attention. This is very important. Before you change your differential gear oil, make sure that you can take this plug out. This is where you're going to fill your differential. It's the fill plug. And this is the reason I say it. What if you take the cover off, you drain all the fluid, and you cannot take out the fill plug? Then you're stuck, right? You cannot fill it back up. That means that you're going to have to tow your vehicle to a professional so they can take out this plug right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a 3/8 inch drive to take it out. But before I take it out, I want to clean a bit around it, just so I can see better what I'm doing. There it is, guys. So I'm going to put this away for now. I'm going to put my finger in there, see if there's any oil. And wow, I don't feel any. No, I think this thing is empty. Well, we're about to find out. All right, tip number 2, guys. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out all the bolts at the bottom and on the sides, except for the last one. The last one up on top, I'm gonna back out maybe halfway. I'm gonna keep it there because once I take out all the bolts, I'm gonna try and move this cover out so all the gear oil will drain into my oil pan, and the last bolt will keep this cover from falling off. All right, so like I said earlier, these are all 1/2 inches and they're not too tight. Yeah, they feel kind of loose. Wow, maybe that's why all the gear oil drained out. I won't be too surprised if there was nothing in here. I've had this pickup truck since 1999 and I've only put like a little bit over 1,300 miles in it the first 5 years, but after 2004 I parked it obviously in my garage and I haven't used it since. I was too busy. I was way too busy with the Navy. Obviously I was traveling all over the place and time just did not allow. And then when I left active duty in 2010 and went back into the reserves, either there was no time or no money to get this back on the road. And now that I'm retired, yep, now is the time. I don't know the torque specs for these bolts yet, but I'll find out before I put them back in. All right, the bolts are out and now I'm gonna use a spatula. Yeah, because if you try to pull it out, it's kind of like glued in. So I'm going to use a metal spatula at the bottom, maybe hit it with a hammer. Like so. There we go, just to move it. Oh, there it goes. There is oil. Maybe not a whole lot, but there is some. And you see what I mean by leaving that bolt on the top? It prevents the cover from falling off. So I'm just gonna wait a few minutes here and wait for most of it to drain. I could probably take it out now. Yeah, let me take it out now. The hard part is done. Let's see. There we go, guys. Like I may have said before, this is a posse traction. A posse traction is the same thing as a limited slip differential. Back in the 70s, that's what General Motors called this. But it's the same thing, limited slip. But I kind of like the old name, posse traction. So let's see. Yeah, you can peel this gasket off. By the way, I've never changed a differential gasket before. I mean, I've seen it on TV, but this will be my first one. And I'm glad it's my own. So, I'm gonna take out any fluid inside with an old rag. Wow. I'll take some clean rags and take as much as you can possibly take out. So it's clean inside, and this is what a posse traction or limited slip differential looks like from 1970s. More specifically, 72 or later. Alright guys, so I covered the gears with an old rag because now I'm about to go around and clean it all up, and I don't want any debris to fall inside the gears. I guess that will be tip number 3. So I'm going to use the spatula first. We'll go all the way around, get any loose parts or any loose material. And then I'm going to use a blade like this. You can also use a razor blade. And finally, I'm gonna use a brake cleaner, and I'm gonna spray it around and clean off any little debris. You know what? I have this kind of like Scotch pad. Let me go around and see if there's any more debris I can get out with this. You can use Scotch-Brite as well. Yeah, you want this to be perfectly flat. That's pretty good. It's nice and flat. Now let's go clean the cover. I'm using a chrome polish just to clean it up a little bit. There's a little bit of surface rust. I don't know how much I can clean it up. Here's the before. Here's a little bit of the after, but I'm not done yet. I still have a ways to go. Okay, it looks just a tad cleaner, but it does have a lot of surface rust, little dots everywhere, but that's as good as I can get it for now. It looks a little bit more decent. Okay, let's go get some parts. So I found some fuel lines stored in the shed from many years ago, and I have enough for these two small pieces. All I need are clamps and a gas filter. Let's go get them. Alright guys, so I got the gasket, I got the gear oil, and the fuel filter. I went to a couple of other stores, they didn't have it available. This very fuel filter. And O'Reilly had it, so I'm headed back home now. Thanks, O'Reilly. Here's the old one, here's the new one. They're identical. Unfortunately, I don't know which side is up and which side is down, or which side is facing the tank and which side has to face the carburetor. Both sides are different, so I'm gonna have to look at this video. Now this one says in. I don't know, I'm gonna have to look at the video and make sure that the proper side is going towards the carburetor, because I believe there is a difference. See, this one has 3 indents, so does this one. This side does not. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the hose that I need. I'm gonna put the old one next to the new one, and I have this ConnectPix tool that makes it look too easy. There we go, that's one. And let me cut the other one as well. It cuts like butter. Okay, so I'm gonna put the hoses in, the new hoses. I got some new clamps here too, but I'm gonna use this style for the ends, and then I'll use these new clamps for the outer. Like so. I love these clamps, this style anyway. That's 2 right there. And these 2. Let's go put this on. But first, I need to find out which side is up. All right, figured it out. I watched my video, it took about a second. Now, this indented part goes up towards the carburetor, and this side goes down towards the gas tank. And it has the 3 indents in there. So the 3 indents on this one is down here. So this goes down, this goes up. Okay, here it goes. Because it's a little tight, I'm gonna take this hose off. I'm gonna feed it through the gas line here. Like so. All right, so I'm gonna put the clamp in first. And then the gas line. There we go. Now I can feed it through. Okay, there it is, guys. So once I fill it up with gas, the tank anyway, and I run this engine, I need to make sure that I come back and check for any leaks here. So yeah, one job done. All right, guys, so Philpro does not recommend any RTVUs with their gaskets, but I am going to use a little ultra black just to be on the safe side, because this is an old pan. I believe it's aluminum. It may be a little warped. You just never know. But if this for some reason leaks in the future, I will replace it for a new one. Because once they warp, there's no way to straighten them out. But just to be on the safe side, I'm going to use a little bit of this. Just a tiny bit. There we go. Gonna go ahead and put the gasket in. Nice and easy, slowly. Push it in a bit. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the inside. All right, let's put this puppy back on. Here on this hole, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out. There we go. All the others are looking good. All right, guys, so I'm gonna try and put this in as straight as possible. I may have to move this camera. Yeah, you're gonna get the side view. I'm going to put a couple of screws in, make sure this is held in place. Oh, it's going well. Putting it back the exact same way I took it out. And what I mean by that is the orientation of this cover. I had to look at the video to see how it went. Now, General Motors recommends that you torque these to 22 foot-pounds. For now, I'm just gonna tighten them by hand. Nice and snug. Now, if you were just gonna use RTV, you will have to wait for the RTV to dry up, maybe 15 minutes before putting the cover on. And then once you put the cover on, you put all the bolts in, but you don't tighten them. You wait an hour and then you torque them down to specs. Now, Philpro recommends that if you use one of their gaskets, you don't need RTV, so you can torque them right away. And when you torque them, you do the star pattern. So you start from the top, you do one at the top, one at the bottom, and then go in a star pattern. Torque, the way you torque it is very important. Let me do that again. You start at the top, then you do the one at the bottom, and then you go like this, back and forth. All right, let me take a break, guys. So I'm ready to torque them down. It's been about 15 minutes. I had to take a break. Now Chevy said 22 foot-pounds. However, this is an aftermarket aluminum cover. So I'm gonna go 2 below. I'm gonna do 20. Again, star pattern. It's been torqued to 20 foot-pounds. Now we're gonna add some oil, or gear oil, from the back. All right, we'll take out the plug. I'm gonna put it somewhere over here. And I have this gear oil. I bought this hand pump thing here. And it's gonna take a little bit over 2 quarts. So once you see the gear oil coming out this hole, then we know we are done. So I'm gonna put this rag on the floor. It's gonna take a while, but here we go. There we go, guys. Once you start to see it spill out of the hole, then you're done. And this took way over a half a bottle. And what I mean by bottle is this big 1-gallon jug. So yeah, we're done. You see that? It's spilling over. We are done. Okay, and now this plug I'm gonna tighten to about 15 foot-pounds. All right, here it goes, 15 foot-pounds. That's about right. All right, we're done. All right, guys, so I'm taking this valve cover off. All right, it's only 2. One here and one there. But I suspect this is not the original valve cover. Let me show you why. Oh, the gasket fell off. Gasket's broken. Oh, it just disintegrated into 3 or 4 pieces. All right, guys, look at this valve cover. Now, as you notice, there are only 2 holes here on top, and there are 2 studs here for the valve cover. But notice that this gasket has 4 holes. The standard 4 holes, there's 1 hole here. Yeah, trust me, there's 1 hole here, there's another one here, another here, and another one here. This gasket was made for a standard valve cover. And if you look in the block, on top of the head, I should say, on top of the head there are 4 screw holes. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, that correspond to these 4 holes on the gasket. So this one, obviously it's an aftermarket, it's not the original, and I think I have the original. Oh, and by the way, if you look at the original gaskets, they do come with 4 holes right here on the side. All right, let me show you what I mean by original. Here we go, guys. When I first bought this truck back in 1999, this came with it in a box. And I believe this is the original valve cover. And notice the 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4. The other one has only 2 holes on top, the aftermarket one. I mean, it looks nice, but this is definitely, well, I'm beginning to think that this is the original. I'm not 100% sure. It sure looks like it fits perfectly on that head. I don't know if I want to use this now. I'm thinking about it. It's already painted Chevrolet blue from the 50s. You know, back then, all Chevrolet engines were painted blue. I think up to like early 60s or something when they changed to Chevy orange, but it used to be blue. All right, the only problem I have is that I don't have the 4 bolts that goes here on the corners. But anyway, now we know. And if I ever wanted to use this, it's here. Yeah, so the aftermarket does look nice, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that valve cover gasket, I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna clean up this whole area on top of the head, clean this valve cover. Yeah, it's falling apart. And then reinstall it. No sealer on the block or the head, no sealer on the valve cover. You just put it in there nice and loose. There's not a whole lot of cleaning to do. It's already relatively clean. So I'm gonna get my razor blade and I'm gonna skim over this. Clean this off too, even though it's already nice and smooth. And put the gasket on. I'm using a blade to scrape the top of the head. And a rag to clean right behind it. I want to make sure I do it right. I don't want any leaks. In the 25 years I've had this truck, never done any work like this. I don't have any insurance on this truck yet. It hasn't been registered in the state of New York, but I can ride it around my driveway until I get the proper paperwork. Okay, it's clean. I'm done. And now it's time for the gasket. Now there is a front and a back to the gasket. You see this piece that is notched? That goes towards the front. Because here, under the thermostat housing, there's a piece of metal that this goes around, this little notch. Okay? And the part that is not notched goes all the way in the back. I was wrong, guys. The notched part goes towards the back. Yep. The holes line up. Yep. Everything's looking good. And I have these 2 valve cover grommets. Not exactly sure how they go, but I do notice residue of an old valve cover grommet. Notice the difference? Brand new and the old. This is torn to pieces. There's another one here on top of that stud. So I'm guessing they go like that. As for the 2 grommets, they go on top, right there. On top of the valve cover. Okay, this valve cover is now ready for installation. Okay, let's see what else can go wrong today. I think I'm okay. But if you notice, the valve, the gasket, it's a little bit too close to those springs. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Well, it is what it is. This is an old design, an old engine. I'm sure today's engines are very, very different. But here it goes. Maybe the grommets are supposed to go in later, last. Hey, what do I know? Oh, there he goes. There it goes. Okay, looking nice. I didn't even know there were 2 grommets that were supposed to go on top of this valve cover. Because when I bought it, there weren't any on top. It's only a piece of it at the bottom of that stud. Who would have thunk it? Okay, let's tighten this up. I suspect not very tight. I forgot to put the washers on. I forgot them because they're over here. You know what? I think I need new washers. Let me go find 2 new ones. Yeah, because these old ones are curved. You see that? It looks kind of like a dish. Yeah, I don't want to use these washers. These are the old ones, and I got 2 new ones. Oh, the wife is here. Okay, let's tighten them up one last time. Not too tight, maybe 10 foot-pounds, maybe less. I'm talking to the camera, Maria.
Oh.
You want to be on camera?
No.
How was it?
Oh, it was good.
Oh, Amazon's here too today. I'm not going to turn the camera around. But yeah, everyone's coming in at the same time.
Yep, thank you, Lord.
Okay. I think that's good. Hi, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. All right, thank you, buddy. All right. Yeah, I kind of like crushed the this thingy on top. Let me back it up a little bit. All right, guys, so the valve cover is in. Gasket is in. Now, once I turn this engine for the first time, obviously everything I did today, I need to double check after I turn the engine off. So the gas filter, the inline gas filter, make sure there are no leaks here on this new gasket, and check the differential. Yeah, whenever that day happens, it's gonna be a fun day. And I know, you know, this is a 1952 truck. I know there's a bunch of things that are gonna go wrong with it. That's okay. I'll take care of it as it happens. You know, you have to be flexible, kind of like Gumby. You must expect the unexpected. I think I'm gonna take out the spark plugs, but that's gonna be till the next video because it's getting late at night and this video itself is getting way long. I'm gonna take out the spark plugs and get all that, what is it, mystery oil that I put in there, get that all out. And then I'm gonna hook up the starter, do a little bit of wiring. Yeah, that needs to be done. And try to figure out what type of transmission I have on this one. And if it needs gear oil, I already have it and I can fill it out. You know, I'm happy with everything here. And if anything goes wrong, well, I'll just redo it again. But right now, everything looks nice and tight. It looks good. It's almost 8 p.m. and there's a special group waiting for me. They've been waiting for a while. There they are. All my chickens. They're expecting their late night snack. Now this morning I came out and I found 2 eggs. There should be more now. Especially from the big chickens. The silkies over there, 3 of them, 3 of the 4 hens are broody. Most of those, 4 of those big ones over there were silkies, they're roosters. Okay, so these have their snack. Let's take care of the silkies now and go get some eggs. Yep, this rooster, he likes to attack. I have to be careful with him. So I bring a bamboo stick and I just push him away, because if I don't, he will strike. There we go. I'm not gonna go in there because I know I'm not gonna find no eggs. However, I'm gonna check the big chickens. There's Layla. She's always nearby. Okay, so I had 2 this morning. I had 2 more here. That makes 4. There's 1 over here. That's 5. And 1 over here. That's 6. And she is broody. All right, I'm leaving you alone here in a second. There shouldn't be anything under her, but let's leave her alone. All right, so 6X today. All right, so I have worked on the differential, inline gas filter, and the valve cover. So every day I'm gonna try something new on this truck until it's ready. So tomorrow, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little bit of electrical on the starter. Then I'm gonna get that mystery oil out of the cylinders. This is something that I did a couple of months ago. You can check out my playlist and you'll be able to see that video. I'm not sure if it was number 2 or 3. I believe this is video number 7 on this 1952 truck playlist. I need to identify the transmission. It's a 3-speed on the column. I need to identify it so I can maybe do a little bit of maintenance on it later on. It may need some gear oil, which I have. And once I get it started, maybe take it around my driveway here and do a few circles and get the paperwork done. And what I mean by paperwork is New York State license plates and a New York State registration. But I can do that last once this thing is on. So, and God knows what else may happen once I get it back on the road, because it's an old truck. Like I said, I expect other things to go wrong with it. And I'll take it one day at a time. I'll fix whatever needs to be fixed whenever it breaks. So with that, guys, you have a good morning, afternoon, or night wherever you are. We'll see you mañana. Bye.